If you've ever stood at the edge of a goodbye that felt too heavy to carry, this story is for you. Stay with me until the end, because what happens in the final moments changes everything, and if stories like this move your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us share more stories that remind us hope can appear at the exact moment we're ready to give up. The bus station smelled like diesel and rain, the kind of rain that doesn't fall hard but soaks into everything anyway. Daniel held his daughter's small hand tightly, afraid that if he loosened his grip even a little, the city itself might swallow them both. His suitcase was old, one wheel cracked, the zipper fighting him every time he tried to close it. Everything about that suitcase felt like his life, worn down, held together by effort and hope, one tug away from breaking apart. The departure board blinked above them, letters clicking as destinations changed, but the one he was watching stayed the same. One way. No return. Daniel had promised himself he wouldn't look back, but his eyes kept drifting to the street beyond the glass doors, to the city that had taken so much from him and given almost nothing back. 2 years earlier, Daniel had believed in this city. He had believed hard work mattered, that showing up early and staying late would mean something. He had believed that if you were honest and kind, life would eventually meet you halfway. But belief doesn't pay rent. Belief doesn't fix broken heating in winter or put medicine on the table when your child wakes up burning with fever. After his wife died suddenly, an illness that moved faster than anyone expected, the world didn't pause for his grief. Bills came anyway. His job at the warehouse cut hours. Then cut positions. Daniel was one of them. He applied everywhere, took anything he could find, night shifts, day labor, odd jobs that paid cash but no security. Still, the notices piled up on the kitchen table, red ink screaming louder each month. His daughter Lily was too young to understand everything, but old enough to feel the weight. She stopped asking for toys. She learned to say, "It's okay, Papa," in a voice that broke him a little more each time. When the landlord finally knocked on the door with that tired, apologetic look, Daniel nodded before the words were finished. He packed what he could, sold what he had to, and called a distant cousin in a small town hundreds of miles away. There was no job waiting, no promise of better days, just cheaper rent and fewer people who knew how badly he had failed. The night before they left, Daniel walked through their empty apartment, touching the walls as if memorizing them. He whispered an apology to the silence. To his wife. To his daughter. To himself. By morning, he had made peace with leaving forever. They stepped outside the station, rain tapping lightly on the pavement. Daniel lifted Lily into his arms to keep her shoes dry, her head resting against his shoulder. That was when he heard the sound of an engine slowing, tires hissing on wet asphalt. A sleek black car rolled to a stop just a few feet away, out of place in a neighborhood of cracked sidewalks and flickering streetlights. Daniel barely noticed at first. Expensive cars passed through all the time, windows tinted, worlds sealed off. The passenger window slid down. "Excuse me," a calm voice said. Daniel turned, instinctively pulling Lily closer. Inside the car sat a man in his late 50s, silver hair neatly combed, eyes sharp but not cold. He wore a simple coat that somehow looked worth more than everything Daniel owned combined. "Yes," Daniel answered cautiously. "I saw you come out of the station," the man said. "You look like someone saying goodbye." Daniel didn't know why that sentence hit him so hard. Maybe because it was true. Maybe because someone had noticed. He swallowed. "We're just catching a bus." The man studied them for a moment, then glanced at Lily. "Where are you headed?" Daniel hesitated. He had learned not to share his story with strangers. Pity was exhausting, but something in the man's voice felt genuine. "Out of the city," he said finally. "For good." The man nodded slowly. "My name is Victor Hale." The name meant nothing to Daniel at first. Then it clicked. Hale Industries. Real estate, technology, infrastructure. The billionaire whose face appeared on magazine covers and news segments, usually next to words like visionary or ruthless. Daniel's grip tightened. "I don't have anything to sell," he said quickly. "And I'm not asking for." Victor raised a hand gently. "I know who you are not," he said. "I'm asking who you are." No one had asked Daniel that in a long time. "My name's Daniel," he said quietly. "And this is my daughter, Lily." Lily peeked over his shoulder, curious eyes meeting Victor's. She gave a shy little wave. Victor smiled, something soft passing over his face. "Daniel, Victor said, I'm late for a meeting I don't care about. But something told me to stop when I saw you. Daniel almost laughed. Life had taught him not to trust moments like this. They usually came with strings attached. That's kind, he said, but we should go. Victor didn't move. Before you do, he said, would you have 5 minutes to tell me why you're leaving? The bus departure time echoed in Daniel's mind. 5 minutes wouldn't change anything. And somehow, he was tired of carrying the story alone. He told him, not all the details, but enough. The job loss, the bills, the promise he couldn't keep to give Lily the life she deserved. He spoke without drama, just facts, because the pain had burned itself down to something dull and constant. Victor listened without interrupting. When Daniel finished, there was a long pause filled only by the sound of rain. I lost my wife too, Victor said finally. Many years ago. Daniel looked up, surprised. I was already wealthy, Victor continued. People assume money cushions grief. It doesn't. It only gives you quieter rooms to feel it in. He took a breath. I built my empire because I didn't know how to stop running. Daniel didn't know what to say. Victor opened his door and stepped out of the car, rain dotting his coat. He knelt slightly so he was eye level with Lily. Do you like this city? He asked her. Lily thought for a moment. I like the library, she said. And the lady who gives me extra stickers. Victor smiled again. Then he stood and looked at Daniel. I can't fix the past, he said. But I might be able to change your next step. Daniel's heart started pounding. I don't want charity, he said. I just want a chance. That's exactly what I'm offering, Victor replied. He explained quickly. One of his smaller companies, an overlooked logistics firm, needed someone who understood warehouse work from the ground up. Someone who knew what it meant to miss a paycheck and still show up. The position wasn't glamorous. It paid enough to live, not enough to boast. But it came with stability, benefits, and room to grow. Daniel shook his head in disbelief. You don't even know me. I know enough, Victor said. And I know this city doesn't need to lose another good father. The bus engine roared to life behind them, a sound that felt like a countdown. Victor held out a card. If you walk away now, I won't chase you. But if you stay, come to this address tomorrow morning. 8 sharp. Daniel stared at the card, then at Lily, then back at the bus. Every instinct screamed that this was too good to be true. But another voice, quieter and braver, whispered that sometimes help looks like a stranger who stops his car in the rain. Daniel took the card. The bus doors closed. The bus pulled away. Daniel stood there shaking, not from the cold but from the weight of the choice he had just made. The weeks that followed were not easy. The job was demanding. Daniel woke before dawn, learned systems he had never touched before, made mistakes and owned them. Some coworkers treated him with suspicion, assuming he was another favor case. Victor kept his distance, checking in only occasionally, never hovering. Lily started school nearby, her laughter slowly returning. The fridge stopped echoing. The lights stayed on. One night, months later, Daniel worked late, fixing a problem that could have cost the company a major client. He didn't do it for praise. He did it because he cared. The next morning, Victor called him into his office. You solved something my senior managers missed, Victor said. Why? Daniel shrugged. Because it mattered. Victor leaned back, studying him. I've built buildings taller than dreams, he said. But this is what lasts. He offered Daniel a promotion. Not just more money, but trust. Years passed. Daniel grew into the role, then beyond it. He hired people who needed second chances. He remembered every sleepless night, every fear, every moment he almost left. Lily grew taller, stronger, her eyes bright with possibility. They visited the library often.